Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. I'm so excited about my next guest. Her name is Pallavi Ahluwalia, and she is one of the top attorneys here in DFW. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm a little intimidated because I know you have your own radio show, and so you could do this. I could probably go to the bathroom. You could do the whole segment.
No, I would love to have you host me. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Well, tell me your journey. How did you first get interested in the law?
Came here as an immigrant and to the U.S. And as soon as I came in, I was looking at my options as to what I would like to study. And the law and to be a lawyer here was something that seemed empowering. And I went on, as soon as I came in, to take my LSAT, went on to SMU Law School, which is now called the Dedman School of Law. Also did 1 year at UT Law. And then once I finished law school and I started my practice, just was naturally drawn to immigration as something that just interested me. Of course, we also do corporate, associated, allied, corporate matters and family law matters, but they support our large practice of immigration, which is mostly employment-based immigration for high-skilled workers, doctors, engineers, companies that look for the best and the brightest from all over the world.
I think that's wonderful that because you were an immigrant, it probably gives you an appreciation for the process that other immigration attorneys might not have.
Yes, I mean, I'm sure that anyone that pursues it can be difficult, it can be challenging, it can be easy. It depends on how you take it on. But I'm sure any attorney that enters the field probably feels for what they're doing, and that's how they choose that as their field of study. We have so many different things we can do with the law, and I think just currently with the topic that is so polarizing is the word I can use. I think it has produced a lot of interest in other people too. I remember going last year and standing all night at the DFW airport when there was a ban against people from different nations that were being allowed to come in. So what caught a lot of people by surprise was that this was instituted when people had already taken flight from different countries and they were just coming in. And a lot of them were parents or they were, even kids, and they were being held at the airport because of that executive order. And I could just see how many people just that came as volunteers probably ended up practicing somewhat in the immigration field later on because of that interest that everyone had. So I think that's the current interest for a lot of people as to they're watching. We all have opinions on it.
Yes. Well, I ask this question of a lot of my guests, and I want to ask this for you. So in football, the win is scoring the touchdown, hopefully getting to the Super Bowl. What's the touchdown for you? What's the highlight of your career?
For me, it is to be able to. So when people come to us, a lot of times they've had some mess that's happened with their case. They've filed the correct paperwork. It didn't go well, or the government wanted a lot of information from them that was not being handled well. So for us, it is to be able to take a case that was messed up in some sense and to be able to make it right and get the person the status and the ability to continue to live here and to be able to work. So which is the best that we can do as immigration attorneys, to keep people here legally and allow them to work here. And obviously, all of these people that are working here or are contributors to how they pay their taxes and people that they hire and people that they work for.
Yes.
So that is our success.
And you care about your clients.
Absolutely.
It's not just another number in a file.
No, it's not. So, and I think everybody that works in the firm, we're a small firm, but anybody that works in the firm just realizes that we're not about a number. We're not about, and any one time that if anyone to even to feel annoyed with the repeat requests, and people that come to us obviously are needy. We just tell them to just step back 1 minute and just get into their shoes. Just feel for what they're saying. Empathy is key. And if they don't have it, then they're not at the right firm. They're not at the right practice, because our thought is here to be able to empathize and to be able to do our best for our clients.
And you do a lot of work with companies and corporations. How do you assist companies?
Most of the employment-based immigration is the petitioning party is the company. Okay, it does impact the beneficiary, who is the employee, and it's their life, but it is a company's requirement that spirals or gets the case filed even. So they may be dentists, they may be doctors, they may be tech companies, high-tech companies that are looking for a worker that fit that profile. A lot of the workers that they hire, they're already here as students. They're the best and the brightest that have gone to and studied in the STEM fields, the science, technology, engineering, maths fields. They're also the ones that have gone to dental school here, medical school here. So there are companies, hospitals, practices that want to hire them, and we represent them.
What's one of your more interesting cases recently? You don't have to name names, but something that you were proud of in the last year or two.
Well, just recently we had a case in which a company had filed. This is for medical, it's for a hospital facility, and the position was that of a network administrator. It was an engineering position. The government came back and said, how do you think that this is something that's even specialized? So they had disregarded the volumes of papers that the previous attorney had submitted, which showed that this was an engineering position. So I told our client, I said, I don't think this officer is understanding what we are doing or what was submitted that describes the engineering position. Let's just get with it and just say how this would impact your degree or your presence would impact somebody at the hospital. And they came back and they gave me this description of, the ventilators that were hooked up, everything that belonged to the network, and the engineer's responsibility had an impact on the life of people that were hooked on to those gadgets in the hospital. So we wrote just a note there for the officer to understand that what this project is actually doing, and we got an approval.
Wow!
So, and this just happened just 2 days back.
Really cool.
So
That's really
it
cool.
it was not the engineering papers that were written in there, and the officer still asked us, do you really think this is specialized? And I said, let's just boil it down to something that's simple enough for them to understand. Why would they not hire the best and the brightest if they had the lives of people at stake? Why would this hospital not hire? And I think that's what got us an approval.
That's a great story. And to me, it shows your ingenuity and your ability to tell stories, because ultimately it's telling.
We have to get into the officer's head to be able to have him understand what we're saying or her understand what we're saying, and we hope that we do.
And I know you're passionate about educating people as well, and that's why you do your radio show. Are there a lot of misperceptions about immigration?
Most of I have a show on 104.9 FM, one of the radio stations here, and there are a lot of South Asian immigrants that listen to that radio, and they just call in and they have questions. So they don't have perceptions as such, but they have their own questions. But whenever we go on the air and I'm answering questions, I will also inform people. We'll also tell them as to what the latest is. And what's going on. It may not impact the entire community of the South Asians, but there would be a great subsection that does listen in and understand what needs to be done based on that.
And what is it like to engage you? Does it cost anything to come meet with you for the first time to see if there is a case?
Yes, we do. So
Sure.
yes, we do have a consultation charge, but it is adjusted towards the representation. So it's just really a nominal charge that just shows the client has good faith also, and
Yes.
it's not just shopping around.
Yes.
So we do have a consultation fee, but it does get adjusted into the case.
Now, immigration is not your only practice area. Name some of the others.
So we do a lot of corporate work, and these are associated. So we have a lot of investors that come from abroad. There are a list of investor countries that U.S. has treaties with for which funds can be transferred to the U.S. and a business can start. Now, they don't have to be high-tech companies. They could be even convenience stores, as long as they create employment and there is not a set number. These visas are called E2 visas. But when we are doing that, we also need the company to be set up correctly. Sometimes, people that have just come into the country get intimidated and just file at the behest of their relatives, but file the wrong kind of companies or don't start it off correctly. So we have to go back and correct it. So we have allied corporate services that go along with that. So that's purchase agreements, any contractual matters that impacts immigration and otherwise. So we have clients that are just our corporate clients too.
It sounds like sometimes your cases are just undoing a very simple mistake, that somebody forgot to file this form or filled it out wrong.
No, it's more than that. It is also from a simple construction of starting out from scratch on any case and then taking it on and taking it to completion. So we have all kinds. We would call ourselves the second opinion law firm, which means that if we were at the second higher level. But of course, we're also the simple law firm, which will take cases from the beginning, and you don't have to have it spoiled to come to us.
No, you're wonderful. I had a chance to visit your law office, and it really feels like family. So congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much, Jeff, and thank you. It's so kind to host me here.
Of course. Will you give everybody your website and please spell it?
Okay, surely. It's ahluwalialaw.com. It's www.ahluwalialaw.com. And I'll give the number for the office, which is 972-361-0606 or 972-361-H1B1. Now, that's easier to remember.
I love it. That's a great phone number.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Coming up next, he's a judge who's out to reform the criminal justice system in Dallas County. He also has the heart of a teacher. Why? He takes the public into the judge's chamber every single week. That's just ahead on the Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to the Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.